This has to be one of the hardest videos I've ever had to make. And I've spent a significant amount of time thinking about how embarrassing it is to do it, because sometimes we get embarrassed to ask for help. The thing is, I want you guys to help me raise 5 million rand. And I know it's crazy. I've spent a significant amount of time thinking about how crazy it is. But hear me out. This is my father. He was born in 1964 to farm-working parents. And as a result of being born in extreme poverty, he never got a chance at a formal education. He started working in farms when he was just a child. And in 1984, at the age of 20, he bought his first cow. Today, he has approximately 600 animals consisting of cattle, sheep, pigs, goats, and some horses. But getting there almost broke him. In 2003, he wanted to stop working as a farm laborer. So he made his first attempt at acquiring land through the Department of Land Reform and Rural Development. It was unsuccessful. He kept building. Over the years, he's moved his animals to 6 different places, searching for somewhere stable, somewhere that they could call home. In 2008, he made an arrangement with the farm owner of a farm called Vuyolwethu, and they agreed to keep some of his animals there. By 2012, he was splitting his animals across 3 different places. Vuyolwethu, the farm, a communal farm in Jamestown in the Eastern Cape, because other communal farmers told him that he had too many cows to keep all of them in the communal farm, and a 3rd farm. In 2012, the farmer he was renting from at that 3rd farm took 20 of his cows. 20, because he said that my dad owed him money. My dad tried to fight this, but he ended up giving in. He lost 20 of his cows. I still remember that day like it was yesterday. I still remember the heartbreak and his voice as it described what had happened. It nearly broke him. He became deeply depressed. He was suicidal, but nonetheless, he gathered his strength and he kept building. In 2013, when the farm owner of Vuyolwethu expressed that he wanted to sell the farm, my dad made his 2nd attempt. He formally applied to acquire Vuyolwethu through the Department of Land Reform and Rural Development in Queenstown. There they told him that he didn't have enough animals. At this point, he only had 60 cows. They told him that he would be a burden, not a beneficiary to the government, and therefore his application was again unsuccessful. From then onwards, there was always this lingering fear that he couldn't grow his herd as big as he could because he had nowhere to keep them. He was always afraid that he would end up with a lot of animals that had nowhere to live. So he kept his herd smaller. He kept working in farms while also looking after his cows that were in Vuyolwethu and the communal farm. In 2019, earning less than 5,000 rand per month with a wife and children, he quit his job at a farm and decided that he wanted to farm Vuyolwethu and look after his own cows full-time. When he took occupation, the farm was run down and in an extremely poor condition. With his own hands and his own money, he rebuilt it into one of the best wool and livestock farms in the Eastern Cape. All the farmers around that area would tell you what condition it was in before my dad moved in and how it got better because of my dad. From then onwards, with a really good relationship with the farmer, he gained enough confidence to grow his herd, which is now approximately 600 animals. He grew his herd deliberately, hoping that he would now be able to prove to the Department of Land Reform and Rural Development that he had enough animals for them to finally support him. In 2024, when the farm owner of Vuyolwethu, still the very same owner from 2008, said that to my dad he wanted to retire and sell the farm, my dad again approached the Department of Land Reform and Rural Development in Queenstown about Vuyolwethu. In 2025, after extensive evaluations of the farm, he was told that 1, the farm would be advertised, and 2, that he needed to submit a formal application to become a beneficiary. And in December 2025, he did just that. That application only brought more uncertainty, more stress, and more turmoil to a point that it's actually taking its toll on his health. As of today, August 3rd, 2026, we are in limbo because there's a real chance that he may lose Vuyolwethu and animals that he has there will have nowhere to go. I wish I could go into details with what is happening, but I'm unable to do so. But after 3 formal applications over a span of more than 20 years, we have decided that maybe for the first time, we attempt to buy Moiflay ourselves with your help. And I know you're probably going to think, sell all the animals, take the money, go to a bank, apply for a loan. We've thought about all of those things. All of them. My dad is 62 years old. This is not a matter of selling all of the animals and taking the money and moving on with your life. He loves farming with his whole heart. And I've never in my life seen somebody love something that much. Farming is all he's ever known. And he is really, really good at it. So it's not easy to just give up, to just move on. And I know for a fact that if he gave up farming, even with all the money in the world, it would kill him, literally. I know that he would die because I've seen him for the last couple of months just deteriorate. Every single time I get a phone call from my parents, I'm always wondering, what's the bad news today? That is why I need your help. Because this would be the ultimate retirement gift. It would be the peace that I wish he'd had all of these 20 years that he's been trying to get a farm. So yes, I'm crazy enough to want to raise 5 million rand to buy Moiflay for him. And I guess a part of that comes from feeling guilty that I'm not rich enough to have 5 million rand at my disposal, that I could just buy the farm for him, that I could just end the turmoil and the misery. So yes, I'm delusional enough to think that if I could get 100,000 people to only give me 50 rand each, only 50 rand, then we would have enough money to get my dad the farm. So if you can give, please do. If you cannot give, please share. If you have questions, please ask. But I ask you to reserve the judgment. And I ask you to please leave the harsh comments out of this one. Because at the very least, even if we lose this battle, I at least want his story to be told. And this is the only way I know how.